What's up, everyone? Little lead-in music there. So I wanted to talk today about tune updates for my car. So I've been bouncing back and forth which tuner I want to use. There's a lot of tuners out there. Unfortunately, there's no dyno tuners in my immediate area that does Hemis. The closest one would be down towards the Miami area, which is like Gearhead Fabrications. So with that being said, like I said, there's a lot of tuners out there that do email tunes. I wanted to go for somebody who I felt like had experience. I wasn't necessarily going for the cheapest one out there, but I also wasn't going to spend a ton of money because eventually when I start getting into the actual motor work of the car, I'm going to want to bring the car down and get dyno tuned. When I do that, I will bring the car to Gearhead Fabrications because it is within 6 hours of driving from my house. I'd be able to drive the car there. They can do the dyno tuning for the day. I could spend the day down in Miami or Fort Lauderdale with my wife. Be a good day. She just won't know how much I'm spending on the tuning. But did I say tuning? Tuning. But so they're going to charge me $400 for a dyno tune. And coincidentally, they charge the same for an email tune. So the ones that I looked at, like I said, there was a bunch of guys out there that all were like $100, $125 for an email tune. Guys that I've never heard of, but different people on some of the forums sent me in the direction to, and I just wasn't willing to give somebody a chance that I don't really know and haven't really heard of too well to tune my car. This is still my only car for now. So like I said, I just didn't want the issues. So the main ones that I was trying to choose from would be Hemifever, Greene, Dusterhoff, and then again, like I said, Gearhead Fabrications. Those are the big ones. Oh, and Diabltoona. So those were the big ones that I hear about all the time. Very rarely have I heard anybody say anything negative about any single one of those. So those 5 tuners is what I base my opinion on. So Dusterhoff, I called them, and you know, I'm a big fan of Demonology. Demonology uses Dusterhoff and he swears by him. My issue with Dusterhoff was strictly the cost. I just didn't feel that it was worth it. He charges $400 for the tune. That's not even including any revisions. Any revisions after that, I think it was like another $75 per revision. So you're talking possibly $500 or $600 before the tune is even like correct. So I kind of threw him aside. Then I reached out to Diabltoona, and you know, I don't have anything bad to say about Diabltoona, and even if I did, I wouldn't say it. I would just kind of keep my opinion to myself about it, being that I've never used him. But what kind of turned me off is I tried to get a price out of him on what he would charge, and his response back to me was, well, I don't charge anything, I take donations, and my donation would be anywhere from $200 all the way up. Your donation should be relevant to your mods in your car. I don't really know what that means specifically, nor do I like that. So does that mean if I just have basic mods, he's just gonna pull something up that he's done in the past on his computer and send it out to me and charge me $200 and be done with it for the day? You know, does that mean if I send him $300, he's gonna spend a little more time and give me a quality tune? So I didn't like that. So I kind of tossed him aside. So that brought me to Hemifever, or Greene, or Gearhead Fabrications. As I said earlier, Gearhead Fabrications, they have a great name out there. They do some incredible stuff down there. $400 for, doesn't matter if it's an email tune or if it was a dyno tune, $400. So I just felt like that was a little too much for an email tune. So keep in mind, I don't mind spending money on something if I feel like it's going to be worth it to spend the money. But again, knowing down the road I'm going to end up with a dyno tune anyway, I certainly didn't want to spend $400 or $500 on a dyno tune now. So left me between Jay Greene and Diabltoona. So Jay Greene, I hear nothing but good things about him. So I message him one day, gives me a price of $250 for an email tune, and he'll do revisions, the whole deal. So great. I said, I'll get back to you. I have a Trinity on its way. Be a couple, probably 2 weeks before it gets to me, blah, 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 blah. So I contact him again, and it was 3 weeks later. And I reminded him, you know, we had the conversation. I'm ready for a tune. Just tell me what you need. So he sends me an email back, tells me it's $350 now. And I'm like, what? And he's like, says price went up. I'm like, I just spoke to you 3 weeks ago. You quoted me a price of $250. You did not tell me that you were raising your prices, blah, 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 blah. $100 difference is quite a difference. I mean, you're talking, you know, close to 50% more than what you quoted me on. I don't like that. That bothered me. You know, I work retail. I deal with customers. I deal with customer service. You just don't do that. If you quote somebody at a price, you say, hey, look, you know, I'm planning on raising my prices 30 days from now. Or, you know, if I do raise my prices and somebody comes in and shows me a quote that I gave them from weeks ago, I'm going to honor that quote. Jay Greene wasn't willing to do that. So the guy's got tons of business. I'm sure he doesn't need my business. I'm really nobody out there except nobody just starting up and just starting to build his car. So that left Hemifever. Emailed Hemifever a couple of times. Sean emailed me back very promptly. $175. Okay, he started out. He's got it on his website for $200, and he had, I don't know if it was a sale or if he just lowered his price, but $175 for an email tune. It still says $200 on his website, so that may be his regular price. It may have just been a sale that he was running. So talked to him briefly. He seemed like a great guy, knows what he's talking about. So I did what I had to do. I emailed him my whatever bass tune. He emails me back a tune, has me do some data logging, send it back to him. Literally emails me back, and what I thought was really cool, impressed me. Like, this guy looked at my tune, pretty much knew just from looking at my tune, like the type, where I'm getting gas from, and the type of place I'm getting my gas from. You know, I used to buy my gas from Sam's Club. It's like down here, anywhere you go, super 93 octane is like $3.05 a gallon, but for some reason at Sam's Club, with your membership, it's like $2.65 a gallon. So that's where I've been getting my gas from, and the guy knew that just from reading my data log. So did a little bit of research, and he told me the two best gas stations to get the gas from was either BP or Shell. Sure enough, I started searching on the internet, and Shell is like the #1 place up there with BP and Chevron, and I really never really thought that it really made that big of a difference. So I switched over to the gas, did some more data logs, sending him over the data logs, and he's doing some more revisions for me. And like I said, $175. I can't complain. I haven't had the car dynoed, so I don't know what the car was doing before or after, if I really gained any significant amounts of horsepower over the canned Diabltoona. But I can tell you it runs a little better, shifts a little better. I can tell you that using my Diablo for the timer, I dropped 0.15 off of my 0 to 60 times. I haven't really had a chance to do a quarter mile run on it, that's changed at all, but 0.15 just from doing a tune, I mean, that's typically, it's got to be like, I'm thinking 10 horsepower and maybe a couple of pounds of torque to knock, you know, that slight bit of time off my 0 to 60, and it was consistent. It wasn't like I just had a special run. It was consistent over and over again. I did 3 or 4 0 to 60 pulls, compared it to 3 or 4 0 to 60 pulls before the tune, and it was consistent. And same gas, you know, for each one before and after the tune. Same time of day. It was literally like, you know, 20 minutes apart. And anytime when I do a pull in my car, I don't ice anything down. I don't try to make the conditions optimal. I'm actually the opposite. I usually do it after I've been driving home from work, and I've been driving for about an hour. I'm up to full running temperature. You know, the cars. I want to know what the car would do if I'm sitting at a light with somebody and I decided to go at it with somebody. That's what I want to know. I give a fuck. Well, I shouldn't say that. I do care what it does at the track. When I go to the track, I'm going to try to get my best times. I'm gonna get a set of drag radials for the car and throw them on there. So yeah, I do care what I do at the track, but ultimately when I gauge my performance, I want to know what it's going to do on the street, because I'm not a track racer. I mean, I'm not even really a street racer, but let's be honest. If I go at it with somebody, most likely it's going to be on the street somewhere. That light. So yeah, so that's how I do all my runs. So 0.15 off of the 0 to 60 times, and he still has one more revision that he's going to do for me. You know, I don't know, when I finally do the heads and the intake on the car, you know, next up is probably going to be my rear end for the car. You know, I may throw a set of coil packs in there. I know there's people that laugh and say they don't do shit, but I'm sorry, but every dyno run I've seen somebody do with new coil packs, better coil packs, yeah, it makes a difference. It on 500 plus horsepower motors, they're getting 10 to 11 horsepower extra out of using, you know, Sultan of Spark or Granatelli coil packs on the car. It just runs better, you know. The car uses 2 spark plugs per cylinder, so I would think that spark makes a big difference in this type of motor, the Hemi engine. So, you know, I don't give a fuck what anybody says about the coil packs. It's something that I decided I'm gonna do, so I'm gonna do it. And, you know, I'll be able to check my times and see if it makes any difference. So, and just to note, when I talk about doing times on my Diablo, I will say this. When I did go to the track and run the car, and I used my Diablo, you're talking like this thing was accurate consistently to within 0.05 of my times. So I trust the Diablo, and quite honestly, even if it wasn't accurate to what the track is telling me, it's going to be accurate to itself, so I'll know if there's any type of improvement or not. So that's all I got to say about that. But when I do finally get the motor work done, I will reach out to Sean again. And I think on his website, once you get into motor work or cams or nitrous, he charges like another $75. So I may give him a chance to see what he can do with that type of stuff being done to the car. I'll see how the car runs. And, you know, who knows, maybe I'll save a lot of money from letting him do the revisions on that, as opposed to, nah, fuck it, I'm still gonna get it dyno tuned eventually, whether I do that or not. So it'd be silly to spend thousands of dollars on engine work and then not actually get it dyno tuned specifically to the car. So yeah, Hemifever tuning. It's what I've used so far, and I've had absolutely no issues. The car definitely runs better. The car definitely runs smoother. And I'm happy with it. If I had to do it again, I would use the same tuner again. So hope this video helped. I'm up to 9 subscribers now. So please, if you guys like what I'm doing and you like these little videos that I'm making and you want to keep seeing me build this Gen 1 charger. My goal is to get this thing ultimately into the 11s. Just subscribe, you know. Shout it out to your friends too. If you have friends that are into Mopars and chargers and they like the older ones, have them watch me too. I like it. It's a hobby for me. It's fun doing it. You know, I support every other YouTuber out there, so hopefully people will do the same to me. And that's all I got for today, guys. Thanks a lot.